everyone. I interned at MBA Scientific Consultants and my name is Gagan Japra. So some of my responsibilities at my internship included conducting an annual chemical inventory where I had to analyze if the samples that were available there were okay to use for the upcoming years or if they had to be safely discarded. Another thing I did was I organized reference samples from previous projects in an organized fashion in order for my coworkers to access those samples easily. And I digitally transferred project data from the previous years into new reference sample folders in our database in order for, once again, the coworkers to easily find any kind of information about previous projects. And lastly, I collected reference sample data on an infrared microscope on any kind of samples that did not already have data on them. The number of hours I completed at my internship was 78 hours. And some of the duties and learning experiences I had here was definitely communication, where I always had to ask questions to my mentor in order to confirm if I was doing something right or wrong, or I had to talk to my coworkers and see exactly how I was supposed to use any kind of microscopic technology there. Another thing that I really had to learn and grow upon was teamwork and collaboration, where I had to ask my coworkers whether if I was doing something right or if what I'm trying to solve in the problem and analyzing the data and if it was going in the right path. Lastly, I had to know how to use a microscopic technology such as an infrared microscope or just a normal microscope efficiently and how to analyze the results that I found. So the effect on my future is definitely a pro, mainly because analyzing molecules in ordinary goods such as your Advil in order to find the root of defects and malfunctions that industries are concerned about. So for example, if there was a black dot in a white nylon fiber, we would use an IR, which is an infrared microscope, in order to analyze the chemical makeup of that black dot to pinpoint exactly what that black dot was and what molecule was infecting the original white nylon fiber. And problem solving, it included collaboration around me, and I really did enjoy working with others to come up with an efficient solution. And lastly, research. In order to find out what the chemical makeup of the black dots were, I did have to do some research into our database and see previous data from other projects in order to pinpoint exactly what that chemical makeup was. The hiring outlook for research scientists is definitely growing. It's growing at an average rate of all occupations, which is a growing rate of 7%. So there is a positive outlook for a research scientist. My most memorable experience at MBA Scientific Consultants was definitely my first time using an infrared microscope because this was the first time I could actually step foot into a research scientist and the day-to-day life of what they do. And so I had the opportunity to use the IR in order to conduct data samples in order to analyze exactly what those samples made up were. And in the end, after I conducted the IR, I would get something similar to the graph on the left, and I would have to match it with graphs already in our database to match it with the chemical makeup. My personal learning and growth was definitely in communication once again. Asking questions was a very important thing that I had to learn at my internship because if I was not clear or understanding of what I had to do, what I had to do was not efficient, so I always had to ask questions. And definitely teamwork again in order to come up with an effective solution and how to use a microscope. And lastly, lab safety, especially in a laboratory with toxic chemicals and carcinogens, I really did have to wear the proper attire and approach those chemicals very safely. And I'm eager to learn more